Hey you, yes you, thanks for tuning in to the Healthy, Wild, and Free podcast. My name is David Benjamin. I'm your host and the founder of HealthyWildAndFree.com. If you're like me, you understand that health, the mind, body, spirit, heart connection, and living a green, eco-friendly, sustainable lifestyle are some of the most valuable and life-enhancing lessons that we can learn and pass on to our children to live happy and abundant lives. That's why this podcast was created, to help you grow in these areas. If you aren't already subscribed to the newsletter, go to healthywildandfree.com, click the box at the top right-hand corner to get a free copy of our latest ebook, and you'll be subscribed to be notified about future podcasts. Thanks for subscribing and tuning in. Enjoy. Hello, podcast listeners. This is David Benjamin, your host of the Healthy, Wild, and Free podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Michelle Robin. She has been an all-around in wellness for nearly 3 decades. She's an international speaker, a best-selling author, and a practicing chiropractor. She is the founder of Your Wellness Connection, which is one of the nation's most successful integrative healing centers, focusing on disciplines such as chiropractic, Chinese medicine, massage therapy, energy medicine, counseling, nutritional and wellness coaching, and the movement arts. She's the author of The E Factor, which basically discusses 3 steps to vibrant health: engage, and energize, and enrich. And she's also the author of Wellness on a Shoestring, which discusses the 7 healthy habits for a healthy life, as well as its companion curriculum, the Wellness on a Shoestring program. And she's also the co-author of Succeeding in Spite of Everything. Dr. Robin holds a Bachelor of Business Administration degree from Washburn University and a Doctor of Chiropractic degree from Cleveland Chiropractic College. She has received postgraduate education from a number of institutions, including Parker College of Chiropractic, Logan College of Chiropractic, Cleveland Chiropractic College, and Northwestern Health Sciences University. And she is the founder of Your Wellness Connection, which is a health and wellness center dedicated to helping their patients live a healthier life. And I'm going to bring her on the call right now. Michelle, are you there?
I am. Good morning, David.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
I'm
I
delighted.
just have to say before we start the podcast, my neighbor below me, sweet old lady, she's about 86 years old, and she's been kind of vacuuming on and off. So if you hear any weird humming noises, you know what it is. And I tried knocking on her door, but she didn't hear me. So we'll just hope she doesn't vacuum anymore. I wanted to start the interview asking you, how did you initially get into health and wellness?
Gosh, I got hurt playing sports in high school, playing basketball. It's a great sport. And my mom took me to the hospital, and my hip wasn't broken, and then she took me to the chiropractor, and it changed my life in so many ways. Not just about the mechanical aspect of healing, but really looking at somebody's heart. And I personally believe that people heal from the inside out, mechanically, chemically, energetically, and psychologically.
Mm-hmm. So it was really just from an injury kind of that led to that, really.
Yeah, it led me to chiropractor Dr. John Lakin, who happens to have his 70th birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday, Dr. John. And what a gift he and his family have been in my life. Very cool.
In your books, I forget which book it was, but one of your books you talked about forming healthy habits and how important it is, and how it's something that in order to kind of make those long-term improvements in your health, you need to create healthy habits today. Can you talk a little bit about how you work with patients and how you help them form healthy habits?
You know, the first thing I do is I really just try to love them up and really just encourage them. There's so much, as Brene Brown would say, there's so much shame around our physical bodies because of the way they're viewed in our media and our country. And so the first thing I have to do is I just get them to start to look at their own magnificence and look at the inside of who they are. And then I really teach them about some of my favorite lines and the things that I use in my own life to stay well. It's not easy for me either. It's not hard, but it's not easy. And I use small changes equals big shifts. Inch by inch wellness is a cinch. Make it simple and consistent. So those would be some of the words I would use. The other words I would use, it's not about the weight. It's about creating a lifestyle that helps you live the life you want to have. I don't know about you, for when I am eating a healthier, clean diet, I have less inflammation, so I have less pain. I'm able to be more active, and I'm able to show up more fully present. So I just sit with them, and I kind of help paint a vision of. I help paint them the vision. I get the vision out of them of where they want to go, and kind of see where they're at, and then we take one step at a time to close the gap.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing I liked about actually both of your books was they were very, very positive, very uplifting, very encouraging, and that sense of encouragement and uplifting energy kind of really inspires, I think, the reader and, well, obviously your patients as well, to care about themselves and make the decisions based out of their true selves and how they want to become and what direction they want to move in. You mentioned that it takes about 21 to 30 days to form a habit. Is there any kind of tricks or just little things that you use to kind of help people stay on course during that time, beyond kind of positive encouragement and that type of thing, to kind of just break through that barrier?
I do. Sometimes depending on the person and their personality type, I may say, you know what, somebody say, gosh, Michelle, I can't, let's say hypothetically, I typically add in the good before I suggest taking away the bad, because when you add in the good, the bad starts to fluff away. So a couple tricks I have is I add in the good stuff first. I'll say, you know what, like I had a client yesterday, and he's been around my message for about 3 years because his wife is a client of mine, and I actually did a corporate wellness program for his company, Catholic Charities. And he recently became a patient because of crisis. And he said to me, I said, gosh, you know what, I had a headache last week, but you know what, I believe it was because I was dehydrated. And I got him, he was drinking like 16 ounces of water when I first started seeing him a month ago, and now he's up to 50 ounces, but he's gone back to his old habit. And he said, now tell me how much what am I really shooting for? And I said, well, you're really shooting for 80 ounces, half your body weight in ounces. And so I may say, you know what, instead of going from 16 ounces to 80 ounces, can you go to 50 ounces? And so I'm negotiating with him. I just kind of see where the resistance is at, and I kind of butt up against that resistance. And I say, well, gosh, let's work on the next week or the next 2 weeks, just getting 50 ounces a day. And so, and what I find is that once people get a week under their belt, they go, yeah, this isn't too hard. I can do a second week, and I can do a third week. And sometimes we say the goal is forever, and so say, you know, let me just get through the next day. You know, one of my favorite sayings that I heard recently from one of my friends is, she'll say, you know what, I'm just not going to have that cookie today. I don't know about tomorrow, but just not today. And then she gets to the next day, she says, no, I'm not going to have that today either. And so everybody's so different. I think that we have looked for cookie-cutter ways to help people. And having one-on-one interaction day-to-day for over 2 decades with clients, everybody's different. You got to see where their resistance is at, and then try to meet them without pushing them into shame or vulnerability.
Right. That's a great point. And I like that too. It's kind of strategic to just kind of delay the junk food or, you know, the things you know aren't as beneficial for you, and then include the things in your life today that you know are beneficial for you. So that kind of helps cement those habits and kind of add that commitment and consistency to your routine. I loved both of your books. Honestly, they had it was like a heartwarming experience reading them. It just made sense. It was very balanced. I like your approach to health and wellness. It's very holistic and balanced, and it covers a broad spectrum. I feel a lot of people in the holistic health space kind of have a very linear viewpoint of, you know, it's all diet or it's all, you know, exercise, and usually it's diet, but, you know, there's so much more to it, I think. And one of the quotes in your book, I'll just read it real quick because I thought it was awesome. A good laugh and a long sleep are the best cures in the doctor's book, and that was an Irish proverb. And I just love that. And if they could add, you know, dark chocolate to that, I'd make that the updated Irish proverb version. But I just love that. And I think laughing and sleep are just amazing healers. I mean, we sleep 8 hours every 24 hours. It's a third of our life we sleep. So what is the value of sleep, and how can we improve our sleep, because it's a third of our lives and no one really kind of talks about that?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for your kind words. Hopefully you felt my heart and my journey in those books, and so thank you for really, I'm humbled and honored to be able to share the message. The thing about sleep is, and I would say that a lot of us are asleep even more than a third, because even though we're awake, our eyes are open, we're not awake. And so what sleep allows for us is it allows for us to reset the systems all the way down to the nervous system and the digestive system, as well as the emotional systems, that we're kind of getting stuck in a lot of trauma these days. And so sleep just gives your body, it's just like a fresh glass of water in the morning. It's very cleansing. It's amazing to me. For instance, I'm in St. Louis for a conference, and I got the privilege to be a rider, not a driver, and so I even just had a 30-minute nap right before we pulled into the hotel late last night, and then to get to bed and really all of a sudden have 6, 7, 8 hours of just deep sleep, and I wake up and my stomach's great today, my joints don't hurt today, my mind is refreshed, my spirit's refreshed, and so we do have a sleep debt in this country, and I think a couple reasons why is, one, we just don't take time for it. We don't make time. We just don't make time to sleep. We don't realize the value. Gosh, there's so many great things to tell you. So I'm going to digress and come back to your question. And I think that when we take time for sleep and we make time for sleep, we are actually valuing ourselves. We are valuing ourselves. One of my favorite sleep doctors, Dr. Jo Smasani out of Tucson, I interviewed her in February for my 12 Months of Wellness series, Small Change Equals Big Shifts, and she said, we just missed the sleep train. And so we started getting tired somewhere between 9:30, 10:30, and we said, gosh, I'm going to go do one more thing. And the next thing you know, we're awake, or our monkey mind gets going. We check an email, and then it leads us to the committee talking to us about what we did right or wrong that day, and starts putting into all the stuff we got to do the next day. Or we start to fold the laundry, and next thing you know, we're cleaning the whole kitchen. So I think one of the things to really do to help get a great sleep is to catch the sleep train and to set it as a priority in your life. Because we'll wake up, people say to me over and over, because I would say sleeping issues are probably in the top 4 or 5 things I see. And what will happen is if you wake up the next morning, some common questions to ask yourself is, gosh, how did I sleep last night? Do I wake up with a positive outlook on life, with an attitude of gratitude? Do I wake up and I'm ready to get out of bed, or am I saying, oh gosh, not another day, and you hit the snooze alarm 5 or 10 times? And you wake up in pain. And those are all signs that you're not getting great sleep. So you really want to start to really listen to your body, and sleep is such a powerful cure. So those are some ideas about sleep, and I can go on for hours about sleep. If you have more questions specifically, feel free to ask them.
Yeah, I actually do, but I want to jump on that tangent real quick. I like how you mentioned waking up with an attitude of gratitude, because in your book you talked about the attitude of gratitude. How does gratitude, for some listeners listening, I think gratitude, how would that benefit my health and wellness, and how would you answer that?
Well, I think it's going to change your hormonal level, which is going to change your brain health, and at least a 300% increase in depression and anxiety in this country since over the last decade. And I just think that people are so overwhelmed, and there's so much information coming at us that it's never enough. And so we start to think it's never enough. It's just saying, gosh, you know what I have right now is all I need. And we're looking at, aging, approaching 50 here. I can look at my skin and I can see the different aging spots on the, less than 1% of my body, or I can see the 99% of my body the skin is still, young skin. And so it's really what you choose to focus on will come about in your life. And I've been fortunate to be around a lot of teachers that have really taught me to really look at all you have around you, and instead of all the things you don't have. And so this attitude of gratitude, if you just practice thinking about 3 or 4 things that you're grateful for, and it could be as simple as being able to breathe today. I was speaking earlier this week, and a lady had emphysema, and you don't really appreciate breath until you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really appreciate it until you lose it.
Yeah, that's a great point. In regards to sleep, what was interesting that I read in your book, and I hadn't really read this anywhere else, was you talked a bit about sleep posture. Can you talk about the correct sleep posture and why that is important for kind of optimizing your sleep?
Well, as you know, I'm a chiropractor, and I would say I'm a diehard chiropractor. I've been getting adjusted at least every few weeks and getting checked to see if my nervous system needed worked on for 3 decades. And I do believe it's one reason why I've been able to maintain such a high quality of health. I sure know it's not my genetics, so I'm going to stay between my chiropractic lifestyle and my other healthy lifestyle. But when a lot of people may sleep on their stomach, and when you sleep on your stomach, you tend to have to turn your head to one side or the other so you can breathe. And as you're doing that, you're creating, if you can imagine just taking a shirt and wringing it out, you're creating that tension, that torsion on your nervous system and on the joints of your spine, let alone putting your arms above your head, which a lot of people do, which will create some pressure on the joints of the shoulder. And then you hike your hip up, your leg up, and next thing you know, your body's in this torsion state, which will create pressure on your spinal column, which will in turn create pressure on your nervous system. And after all, we live our life through our nervous system, so we've got to be really mindful about taking care of it. And because we can't see it, we ignore it a lot of the times. And so sleep posture is so important, especially when you're spending, like as we talked about earlier, a third of your life possibly in some type of sleep position. And so I suggest people they sleep on their back or with a pillow underneath their knees and a good pillow supporting their neck, or on your side with a pillow between your knees, and just try to keep your spine in a line. Dr. John D. Martinez says, keep your spine realigned so you can feel your divine. And so a good sleep posture will help you do that.
Awesome. Do you have any tips for someone, and even me specifically, I feel more comfortable sleeping on my stomach. So do you have any tips for kind of adjusting? I mean, just maybe start by taking naps, or just kind of try to work your way into it, or what exactly? Because it's kind of difficult for me, to be honest. to sleep on my back.
A lot of people. I'm a recovering stomach sleeper, so I can understand that from at least 15, 16 years. A couple things. First of all, I would ask your spirit for its help, because we are mind, body, spirit. And so just say, what I really, and set the vision, I want to become a side sleeper, I want to become a back sleeper, and vision it being comfortable. So number one, just like anything else, vision it. And number two, recruit your tribe, whether if you're sleeping with